Hey, what's up guys? This is Hans from the Eclectic podcast, and today we're going to be taking a look at DX9 Tyrant. This is their version of Galvatron. Real quick, we'll take a look at the packaging, and it is a crazy box. Definitely 70s inspired. You can see all the different stuff on the front there. We have Unicron there. We've got Cybertron, I'm guessing. We got the swoops up there in the corner, or the Scourge. We got the ship. We got Spock's hand for some reason. We've got 86 DX9. Crazy hippie font going on. Top of the box here. Image of Unicron and I Belong to Nobody. On the side. Opposite side. Give you a shot of that. On the back, it shows you Galvatron in his various modes. And then up at the top there, it says DX9 Inner Dream Eternal Hobby. You don't know the power of the dark side. This is just a crazy mishmash of different stuff. Bottom of the box. That stuff there. But yeah, that's it for the package. It's a pretty insane little box, but we'll go ahead and we'll open that up and take a look at what's inside. So here's Tyrant out of the package. Real quick, we'll take a look at all the accessories that he comes with. We do get two cannons. So we got one that's kind of a colored up version. It's kind of clear. This one also includes, when you pull this out, it includes the light feature. It's just a little LED type flashlight, and I'll show you how that works in a little bit here. We also get the kind of the more toy accurate clear one with the sparkly finish in there. We also get a matrix along with the chain. Now the chain itself, the way it's designed, does not quite loop all the way through that hole that it comes with. It's too thick, but you can kind of cheat it like that, and yeah, and it does open a little bit. Interesting kind of little thing. But yeah, you do have a matrix there, so you can sport that around his neck. We do get a plastic spec card, which is kind of cool, with some cool artwork on the front there of Tyrant. Specs on the back. We also have a fairly nicely done instruction manual. Just shows you all the different things that you need to do, and for the most part it does a pretty good job. His transformation can be pretty complicated, especially in the leg area, but this helps with a lot of that. As well as you also get a poster of Galvatron artwork wise, which actually looks pretty good. Not bad. Now, as for the figure himself, excellent plastic quality, and probably the best head sculpt I've seen, like for a third-party character. The purple doesn't show up on camera the way he actually looks. It's looking more kind of a bluish, but he's a very rich purple. You can see he's got his 4-pack abs, little knees, heavy die-cast feet. I don't like the hands. Not crazy about that. I already had one finger pop off when I was trying to figure out how to transform him. But we'll go into that here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's look at that head sculpt kind of a close-up here. And that looks, I mean, that looks the part. That totally looks like Galvatron. Very impressed by that. Looks phenomenal. Excellent attention to the detail on that. Paint actually looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit sloppy on that gray spot on that chin, but not too bad overall. Really impressed with that head sculpt. If nothing else, this head sculpt is spot on. I mean, I do have some issues with the figure, but for the most part, that head sculpt sells it. There's no mistaking that that is Galvatron. We'll go through some of the articulation that he's got. So the head is on a, looks kind of like a ball joint, but you get no side to side. He can look left, he can look right, he can look a little bit up, but not much, and he gets a little bit more down. So you've got that there. He's got these shoulder pylon things that pretty much stay in place, and there's some sloppy paintwork kind of up there on some of that. Arms are on ball joints, so you can get that far out. It rotates right here, so you do get a rotation even though you do have that pylon in the way. You can't, I guess you can't lift it much up beyond that. Now if you cheat this, you could rotate this up to here, rotate stuff around, and get it further up, but you're kind of, it looks kind of goofy. Swivel right there at the elbow. You do have rotation on the fists, or on the hands. Very tight. You have individually articulated fingers. Which, I mean, they're not bad. I don't like the ball pegs just because they are so likely to fall off. But you can totally get some cool poses in there. Get him kind of giving you his metal hand. So I mean that's kind of a cool touch. I don't like I said, it just with the way, and when we go into transformation I'll talk about this. Whenever we collapse these fingers down, they can pop off really easy, especially with the compartment they have to go into. These skirts kind of flip up out of the way, so you can get, and they're just friction joints there. You can get legs about that far out, all the way back, and they're strong. I mean, they hold their positions. Maybe there's a ratchet in there, soft ratchet. Going out, get it about that far. You do have rotation right here, upper thigh. Pretty good knee bend back. One thing I don't like about the hips is that the ratchets for his legs going out, they're too far. There needs to be kind of one in between. Just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. That's that A stance. That's just wicked too wide. It needs to be something kind of in between. And like I said, you can probably cheat it in between the ratchets. It's just it's not going to hold that sturdy. A little nudge and it'll flop them back out. Foot is nicely articulated. You get rocking motions and side to side. And it's big, giant die-cast hoof that he's got. I mean, that thing is huge. Some of the paint applications on here are kind of scratched up. And I'm guessing more of it's going to happen from transforming the figure, because this is kind of a really tight tolerance area whenever you are transforming him. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, is that some of that paint is going to go away. You do get that wicked stance. Now his weapon is here. You got a notch right here in the forearm, this post here, and it's super secure. This one too has got the light feature in it, and so I was kind of worried about it not being able to hold it, but as you can see, it holds it fairly well. I guess you could have dual wield cannons here, since we got two. You can put it on either side. Now in this range too, it's kind of funny seeing some of that, because you get down to a certain point, it's just going to fall on its own. But yeah, he will hold it just fine, no problem. Let's see about getting it all the way out here. No issue. So it's pretty simple. What I do like is that it is so simple. You're just going to take this, you unscrew this here, take that notch out. Inside, it already comes preloaded with batteries. You just want to take out that paper insert that's inside of there. Nice, strong purple light on the cannon there. It looks good. And here he is, weaponed up with his matrix chain around his neck. Thought that was kind of cool that they did include the chain for that. We'll go ahead and we'll go through transformation. Transformation is a pain in the woohoo on this guy. So bear with me as we go through this, because I'm sure I'm going to make mistakes. So let's start moving on to that. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get started with transformation. First thing I'm going to do is remove the cannon, and then bring the arms up, just like this. Rotate that fist all the way around to where it's flush. Make sure all the fingers are kind of pegged in where they need to be, then the thumb is down. And then in here, you want to flip this down. Take the fist, and inside of here, there's that post, and there's a notch on the wrist, or on the hand itself, on the back of the hand. You just want to clip those on there. Make sure, again, everything's nice and tight with those fingers. And then just close that up. Guard position like that. Do the same thing on this side. Arms up. Again. Rotate the fist around. Out here. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Flip this back. On the back here, you're going to want to move these treads out of the way. And these are real rubber treads, which is a really cool touch. Peg that. You're going to start just working this through. Sorry, that's kind of rough, but yeah, you're going to move that whole section through there. Get that kind of all out of the way. Close that back up on the back. Rotate the legs around. There is a swivel there on the waist. Coming to the force pack section on the waist. Flip this section up, just like that. And then move that forward. That'll give you some space there. We're going to start off with the head section up here. You can move that down to kind of lift that up. You want to take this back piece, flip this up. Take the head, because it's a really tight clearance area in here. And then once that goes into there, kind of flip that down. You can move his head all the way back. It'll adjust from there. And then close that back up. Now what you want to do is bring these arms all the way up. Flip this section down. And then rotate this. And that gives you the clearance whenever you flip that down to rotate that around. Same thing on this side. Move that arm up and out of the way. Flip that down. Make sure that section is clear. And rotate that around. And while we're in here, we'll go ahead. Inside of here, we have these silver panels that you want to go ahead and flip out. Flip that part down. So you're just going to swap those around. Same thing on this side. Flip out. Flip that down. Then you can bring this back down. Same thing on this side. Flip that just back down. Okay, on to the next part, which is going to be the arms. You want to take this and rotate it at the ball socket itself. There's ratchets inside of here that you can see. Rotate that all the way up. Bring that all the way up. And then you want to work this back into here. And then once you get that to a certain point, you want to rotate this around. There's a little notch right there. You slide this down on itself, and there's a peg that comes out of that. And then that fills in that hole, just like that. Again, rotate around. Bring that arm up. Kind of want to work it at an angle and then get it in there. Again, before you get too far with that, make sure that's down on that slide to expose the peg that's inside of there. Bring that down. And work it all the way in. Easy part's done. Untab and get something very inappropriate coming out of him here. You want to go ahead and reach underneath here. Pull down on that. Flip that up. Go ahead, bring the legs all the way back on both sides here. And the reason for this is these little skirt pieces in here articulate on out. You want to take them and then rotate them around. Now when I got mine, this was completely mistransformed. So I had to take this panel and swap them. They just, because on the articulation on the inside they have this slot in here that allows that armature to kind of go back upon itself, and they had them backwards to where that did not have the tolerance to go back far enough. So that caused me issues for a while. It's just something to keep in mind. Now we can start down kind of on the leg area. We'll go ahead and this will flip up. Get this out of the way. Same thing with this side. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take these leg sections and we're going to fold them back upon themselves to come back up into the figure. Down here in the leg, you want to untab that, which will allow you to unsecure this section here. Pull open that flap, flip that up out of the way. And as we start to get this down, you want to make sure and bring this thigh piece down. Thigh piece down, rotate this around. Okay, so far so good. We'll rotate the foot around. These really do kind of get problematic in here. Just the tolerances in this area are so tight. What I'm going to try and do here is bring this up, skirt it underneath that, move this out of the way. It's kind of hard to see, but there's that plate back there. You're going to kind of peg that in on the back, close that in right there. Then we can bring this back to rest, if I can get the clearance. Over there. Same thing on this side. Open up that flap. Unpeg that. Bring that out. Oh, and something I forgot too. You want to make sure and flip this little section out up here to fill in that back area of that leg. Flip this out here. Flip that up. So that's what I'm talking about that clearance for that thigh. Bring that down. Bring this down just to give you the extra space you're going to need. Collapse that section around. You may want to move that out just to kind of give you a little bit more clearance. So again, bring this up, clips that there. Get this out of the way because now it's in the way again. Make sure that's down. Get this back out again. Alright, now we've got a hole there and a post there. Those are going to go together. And then you want to bring this top half here. This one's got like a little key that's got a slot for the key. So bring that down and then collapse those together. And that should tighten everything up that we need. Now we can start with this ring section here. Make sure the feet are completely extended out. Same thing with this side. Extend that completely out. Take his little cider there. Bring that back. Rotate this back in around on itself. This really is just a pain getting this worked through here. There we go. Come down, just make sure that kind of covers up that section down there. Take these two pieces, kind of get them as snug as possible. There's a notch inside of there that those two are going to plug into. For the last thing, you're going to bring just this down. Post right there, hole right there. Take this gun piece here, extend it out, rotate this around, flip this back, and then on the end here there's a little notch it'll correspond with up here on the cannon part itself. So yeah, just notch that up in there. Bring that down. Collapse them together. And there we have him in his cannon mode. Kind of rolls, not really. And of course, we can light this up. Overall, I think it's a fairly decent figure. I think the transformation can be quite problematic at times, especially with some of the tolerances. The plastic is excellent, I do say that. The plastic quality is amazing. I've never had a DX9 figure before, and I was really kind of blown away with their quality of plastic. It feels really thick and heavy, and I didn't have any fears of breaking anything. But a lot of stuff the tolerances were close. That section in here that was backwards took me a little while to figure out. That drove me nuts because I was just like, man, this should not be that hard. And legitimately, I mean, it shouldn't have been that hard, but it worked out all well. I got it all done. Now, I'm curious to see, because Fans Toys is going to be making a version of Galvatron, and I'm a sucker for Fans Toys. They make some really solid figures. This is good. I like the die cast here in the feet. I like it up here in the cannon area. It's a solid figure. Well done. Transformation's a bit problematic, but not ridiculously insane. So I say if you need a Galvatron for your set, I think this guy looks great. That head sculpt is amazing, and I can't imagine a head sculpt looking much better than that. That looks like Galvatron. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Peace out, and we will talk to you soon. Bye. What makes this podcast unique?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan, 130 the Eclectic Podcast, just coming at you right now. Let you know we'll be on into YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, come on back now. Be the third subscriber. You get absolutely nothing. Thank you so much. And please listen to the Eclectic Podcast because we are amazeballs.
Yeah, we're probably not quoting Mel Gibson ever again.
If you want to listen to lizard people or hear all about lizard people, lizard people, let them go, lizard people!